Our practice is outside today.
For sure,
There's no
Jeff.
punchline there? There's no joke?
There's no punchline. We're going outside. All right, and it is cold, so bundle up. My hands are numb. Yep, that's right. As far as injuries, really no changes. Goldman is day to day, so nothing there. Other than that, nothing. We're ready to get going here on Detroit. Get out there today. Outside, we will be outside, so it'll be good.
Your time's going against Darius Slay. What makes him such a headache for receivers?
Well, first of all, he's really talented, really talented. He's got good ball skills. He's experienced. And I just think that when you have a corner or a DB that can play man coverage like he can, he's sticky, and he presents challenges in a lot of ways. He understands leverages and he's confident. So you see that. So he's a good player.
Sunday's game is kind of the start to the second half of the season. Are you guys looking at this as kind of a reset to say what you liked from the first half, what you didn't like from the first half, and applying it to this second half?
You have to. I mean, it's a good point because we are halfway through, and there's as many games as we just played. We got that many guaranteed for sure. So when you say, is it a reset button, we discussed that we don't want to look at that far ahead, but we want to understand that we are at the halfway point. So how are we going to go about finishing the second half? And that's going to be, what I think is something that we look back on and how we handled everything. So it's day by day, game by game, but at the same time, yeah, you could certainly put it that way.
Are there any plans to shift some guys on the offensive line, maybe move Cody back to center?
Right. So with you all understand, all due respect, that's one thing that I'm not going to get into game strategy wise, but we're going to look at a lot of different things. We're always looking for solutions. So I'll leave it at that.
Why hasn't the Whitehair Daniels switch worked? It seemed like such a perfect thing, both guys in their college position. Why hasn't it worked like you thought it would?
Oh, it's again something that for us we look at the whole thing, not just the parts. And there's a lot of different reasons for a lot of different things with this offense right now that at this point in time right now, it doesn't benefit us at all to start getting into that. So there's a lot of things with this offense that we need to get better at, and it starts with myself.
I know you're so focused on the offense, but just defensively, as you watch the defense the last couple of weeks, can you really notice the difference without Akiem Hicks being in there and kind of what his absence has meant to you guys?
With Akiem, what you see and what you feel is, he's got that energy during the game where he's just, he's kind of barking at the line of scrimmage. His presence is really felt. He's a leader of our defense. He's one of the leaders of our defense. And I think that when you lose somebody that has the size that he has, the personality that he has, that is a big loss. But at the same point in time, we just feel good about our other guys. That's not why we're at all. I mean, I think that our defense is playing really well right now. There's times that they can be better, but all that said, losing a Pro Bowl caliber player like him, you're definitely going to lose a little bit.
But that being said, they face Stafford, who obviously the wins aren't there for them, but he's having one of his best seasons since he's joined the Lions. What have you seen from him?
Exactly that. I mean, he's a guy. Every year that goes by for these quarterbacks, the game slows down so much to them. So when you have a slower game, you're able to anticipate. You can take more shots. You're seeing that. I mean, they're aggressive with what they do. He gets trust with his wide receivers. Now, he's had a bunch of receivers over the years come through, but he's always had that mindset. I put him for sure as one of the top quote-unquote gunslingers in this league. I think that he can throw from every arm angle possible. And he's always aggressive, and it doesn't matter if he thinks there's a tight window, he's going to try to fit it.
Mitch said yesterday he wanted to turn off all the TVs, and
Yeah.
all the sports stations on there, and see everything that people are saying about you guys and about him specifically.
Sure.
Seen a change in mentality for him the last couple of weeks.
No, it's for him. It's been the same really from the start. I didn't watch it. I heard that he said that. I didn't watch it, so I should probably do that and get a feel for where he was. Just me knowing him and knowing how he is, I'm assuming there was a little bit of tongue-in-cheek there with how he said it. I don't know that. I didn't see it. I will watch it to answer you again. But, huh?
You got to watch the film.
Him doing it?
Yeah, you got to watch the tape on it.
I got to watch it? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm trying to watch Detroit right now. I know that. So, but yeah, I'll have to watch it and see.
You're getting
I think everybody is right now, really. You know, again, it circles back to the quarterback position. That comes with the territory. So we all talk about all of our spots, all of our positions, and how we can handle that weight and how do you react to it. So, you know, we all realize that he's getting a lot of heat right now. We understand that, and so again, I don't know the context exactly of how it was said, but hey, everybody has an opinion, right? So if that's how he feels, he's entitled to it.
I think
know
so.
you don't want to get into the strategy of the offensive line, but when you're considering something like that, when you've had James working there and that's kind of been presented as the future, are you able to make that switch without worrying about what it means kind of long term?
You know, whenever you're looking at these position switches at whatever it is, offense, defense, special teams, we're always doing, you know, we talk about solutions. So if that's something that we decide to do at that position or somewhere else, then there's always a why behind it. But again, there's a lot of things with this team right now that we just are always looking at, and I think that for us, we want to for the competitive advantage, just keep everything, you know, with us in detail.
As you kind of look at the offense as a whole right now, you know, last week you kind of talked about there are only a couple of things that maybe need to be changed, just tweaked to kind of get things going. Do you still feel confident in that it's not that far off right now?
You know what, I do. I really do. And we've talked about that for weeks, and that's the hard part for everybody to understand and for us to accept at times is that it has. You go back to week 2 or 3, right? We were talking about, hey, it takes 4 to 5, 6 weeks to get your identity, and it's taken longer than that. Right now, there's been more frustration than success, and we want to be able to understand the why part. Well, we're hammering through that, and we do really feel like we're right there. We do. That's not something that we believe it's close. But what happens is, all in all, regardless of any changes that you would end up making, it really just comes down to, you know, just some success somewhere that can kind of build off of each play or each game or each week, and that hasn't happened with the offense. You know, it hasn't. We started doing it a few weeks ago, and then we weren't good in the goal to go. But we felt like the offense was better. We got more run game going. So we feel like we're certain and close.
Halfway through this year, what's left an impression on you about Taylor Gabriel and his kind of development within your program?
Right. So Taylor came in last year, and I didn't know him as the person. I did not know, but you could see that he came in, and it didn't take a whole lot of time for him to really buy into the culture that we had and how we practice, how we go about with learning plays and just different adjustments that we have. He is completely all in, and he's been a true pros pro in every aspect. And I really am I've seen him really, really grow in the last year and a half. And that's, as you go through these highs and lows, those are some things that you take away in the positive area.
When you talk about maintaining you guys' personality and culture, even when things are not going well,
Yeah.
I imagine it was easier to establish those things last year. Has this been kind of a test of that?
Yeah, sure. It absolutely has been. It's been a totally different year. Last year, there wasn't no one knew. It was the unknown. We didn't know, we didn't know. And then we went out and we produced and we had success and we fed off of that. That's the positivity that we had. We had some good stuff going. You could feel the vibe, the energy, everything was rolling. And it snowballs, right? It snowballs in a good way. And that's downhill and you're rolling and no one can stop you. And now this year so far, it's been the opposite. We just haven't had that good thing happen where it's positive. You get the wins, and it's been snowballing the other way. So we gotta stop that snowball and get one good thing to happen, and then see where that leads us.
What are you vigilant about right now? What are you guarding against as you try to keep things in the right place, even amid a losing streak?
Probably the number one thing, and this is where it helps me out as a leader, as a head coach of this team, is making sure that there's no friction or fracture or separation, segregation between the team. That's the hardest challenge when you go through this, because there's so many different personalities and everybody has different opinions and different suggestions and different whys. But when you build a culture that can kind of stop that, because when bad things happen, you don't do all that, it gives you a better chance. When you have bad guys, bad people, me people, selfish people, it can get out of control.
gets into one of those separation situations, and it becomes, even in some cases, every man for himself.
Yeah.
I think on some of those teams, when seasons go sideways, does that become just impossible to coach?
That's hard. That's hard. Yeah, when you have that, that's hard to stop. But I really, we don't have that with our team. We really don't. We don't. And we've been, I mean, a 4-game losing streak isn't easy. And especially when you have a separation of two sides with the offense, struggling and a defense playing really well. I've been a part of those without 4-game losing streaks where that's happened. Whether it's on the sideline or whether it's in the locker room, we haven't had any of that. And that's a credit to our players for being so strong. And they care about one another. They want it more than anybody. And you keep going back to that silver lining. Somewhere there's a why. And when we figure that one out, it makes it so much sweeter in the end. It's hard now because we want it now. But there's somewhere we got to hopefully get that why part.
How do you sort of balance, I know you like keeping the BU attitude, when maybe being you, like you said, is a tongue-in-cheek comment that gets thrown out of context for a week. How do you sort of balance going, well, that's more effort than it's worth versus, but that's authentically who I am?
See, I think that for me, when you say BU, that's when this comes into play the most, probably, is because what happens is when things don't go your way, it's hard. You want to start the change thing, and you want to start changing what you're doing. Well, you're not being you. You're not being yourself. And for whatever reason, all in all, it all ends up coming back to what you believe in and what you rely on. And we're all here for a reason. We've all gotten to these places for certain reasons. And when you start changing, that's not real good.
Man, how do you determine that there are no fractures or friction? I mean, you've got a game plan to work on it and all that. How do you deal with 53, 63 guys?
Beginning of the week, every week, I talk with, I have a leadership group that I talk to. I feel like one of the things I learned in my history in Philadelphia and Kansas City was the communication with the players, aside from that. So whether that's at practice in the stretch line, whether it's seeing them in the hallway and you talk to them, and then whether that's I want to bring somebody up to my room and just talk to them and just see, I get it from everybody. So not just the leaders, I'll get it from a guy from the practice squad.
Have you built a relationship enough with these guys in just a year and a half that you know you're getting the real dope?
Every single one of them. There's not a player on this team that you could ask me that I feel like I don't have a relationship. Not one.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Locker room is open, guys.
Yes.
Mark, what do you like about play designs where you can get Mitch kind of out, maybe not even outside the pocket, but kind of just changing the launch angle on some of his throws, like he had on the deep ball to Gabriel Sunday?
Yeah, that, is that particular play is, off of a run action, and then kind of doing all those things that you just mentioned. If you're changing the launch angle, you get him on the move, which is something he likes to do, but then you're resetting his feet and taking a shot, which you're complementing the run game in that situation, and getting our speed guys in space. So that was kind of a best case scenario, and then the only thing that make it better is it's a touchdown.
Like, he likes to be on the run, kind of on the move. How much realistically can you do that with him in a game? And obviously not like every play, but what's the balance of knowing he likes that, but knowing you can't?
Yeah, it's kind of what the game plan is, how the opponent plays particular actions, how they're set up. So it just varies by week.
Mark, Matt talked about Taylor's sort of steady growth in the time he's been with you guys. How specifically have you picked up on how he's come along in his growth chart?
Yeah, I think Mike Furry, has done a great job with him, and he's matured and kind of realized his role in a way, but then also kept pushing and kept just competing for more, and he just has continued to show up in positive ways all over the place, blocking. Playing without the ball, is always something that we just stressed with him last year, and he's continued to buy into that, and his best ball is still ahead of him.
Obviously, a guy who's been part of some of those plays that have been missed opportunities this year. How have you sensed him handling that in a productive manner?
I thought he's handled it well, and that's frustrating, and we had a couple last week. Again, we had a few drops, and we had obviously the drive killing kind of situational penalties that hurt us, and it was, again, unfortunately a little bit with each segment, but he's continued to work hard and battle through all that stuff.
Mark, when you guys script the beginning of a game offensively, does the plan change if things go off track, like on first down, if you end up second and long?
Sometimes it has to. Yeah, I think you go in, you're going into it and you're ranking your best first down schemes, run and pass, then your best whatever the other categories are. And when it's 1st and 15, there's a different mindset. If it's 1st and 20, that's a different mindset. And so you don't want to be in those situations, but you have to plan for them. And again, it just kind of depends on the week of what how the opponent is going to play you in those types of deals.
How much does it kind of blow up what you've been working on all week when you have, like in Philadelphia, where obviously that's not going according to script?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's very frustrating, and then at the same time very simple. Of if I'm a front side guy, and why am I jumping off sides on first down, and we have a huge play where there's so many other the drops. You're not designing a play. Hey, let's drop the ball, or hey, let's whatever the miscue is, or us as coaches 100% taking ownership in what our issues were and may will be, and that's the key to it all, is just identifying and then owning, okay, this is why this didn't work, let's fix it. And it's not again, the frustrating part is not one, hey, here's the easy fix.
Your offense had a lot of success last year at the first drive of the games. I think 5 touchdowns, a bunch of field goals. Not so much this year. Number one, how important is it to start off strong in a game? And also, what do you think accounts for the fact that you're not doing as well on the first drives this year that you did?
Yeah, I mean, there's been various reasons. Penalties have probably been the primary reason for that. Had a kind of a little bit of an assignment / technique error this week that kind of pushed us back. But not one thing. The other part of that is you can't. There's not a relevant statistical evidence that's a huge deciding factor of winning and losing, but it can be. For if guys are in any way thinking, oh my god, here we go, type deal, and we have to respond better. Everyone has to respond. If we throw a pick six on the first play, you have to press clear and move on.
Let me ask you this way then: how, with you guys calling the plays and getting your rhythm going, how much does it help to be able to string a couple of first downs together in terms of the rest of the half?
Sure. Yeah. Again, it's that's helpful, right? Success And that's kind of what we need, right? Put one thing together and just start the snowball. Just be the cog to get that thing going, and then snowball in a positive way. But if the snowball melts in the middle of the third quarter, you got to come back and respond the next play.
Mark, a lot of coaches have talked about the focus in small disciplines over the last month or so. Is re-emphasizing discipline and focus purely just a personal discipline thing, or is there something schematically that coaches can do that sort of helps the team refocus on, starting strong or whatever?
Yeah, I think that's more of a mental thing, for everyone. I don't think that's not a, you don't really scheme discipline, right? You own it, and we all play a part in that, whether it's just a lack of perfect technique, perfect alignment, perfect assignment, communication, all those little things that add up to, instead of 2nd and 2, it's 2nd and 9 or whatever. And so those are all just, it's accountability, on personal accountability by everyone, players, coaches, everyone involved. And then again, just owning the issues, whatever those may be.
Thank you, Mark.
We're keeping his,
This will not be as good.
we're keeping his chair empty.
Oh, please do. Yeah, we should. Go ahead, Rich. Fire away, guys, if there's anything. If there's not, we're...
Taves, on that last kickoff to Shaheen, ideally, do you just want him just to jump on it and preserve the time, or is there
Yes.
something you could advance that?
No, you just want to get on that ball, give the offense a chance, like we always talk about, just like in the Denver game. If you have the ball and 1 second left, you have an opportunity, and our job is to provide that opportunity. So that needs to be played better.
You get a chance to catch it.
He was in good position there, but then it just kind of dropped right in front of him. He still had plenty of time. It's just a matter, you just got to get on the football. Simple.
We talked about Eddie and learning how to deal with the wind around here. Now that it's colder, I don't know what the weather's going to be like on Sunday, but just getting opportunities to learn how to kick in the cold, because it does something different to the ball, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it's not going to fly as far. It'll feel different on his foot. And we went down the stadium yesterday and kicked, and he did real well, and it was windy down there, but obviously not as cold as what it is today. He'll kick tomorrow. It's supposed to be pretty frigid tomorrow, so it's just something he's going to have to go through. So I think it's all part of the learning process with him. So another season and another obstacle for him. He just needs to tackle it.
It's obviously something different, like you just mentioned. It affects the ball, it affects the field. But how much of that is mental? Because everybody goes up to him, they know he's from Florida, they like talk about kicking in the cold. Like, is it something you have to kind of like warn him against that?
Nah.
Too much about it?
I don't worry too much about it, to be honest with you. I mean, there's been a lot of, I guess you call them warm weather guys kicking cold places, done real well, so we're expecting him to do that also. Fair enough. Thanks, guys.
Wow. Is he gonna go
Chuck. How are you?
Good, Chuck.
So, just to kind of recap last week, playing the amount of snaps that we played, in the first half is, it's our own fault. You gotta make plays. I gotta be better. We gotta get off the field. The positives is that, we played 50 plays in the first half, and we only gave up 12 points. So those first two drives, I think a 12, 13 play drive, and then the next one was about the same. I think it was 20-some plays in those first two drives. The guys did a phenomenal job, especially in the low red. The first one they had first and goal from the 5, and we get a couple good stops, and then a third down sack, force a field goal. That was huge. And then the next one, Prince makes a hell of a play on third down, force another field goal. The third drive, we're off the field, I believe on that one on a fourth down, and then you catch, a bad break on a roughing the passer, and they go on to score. They had a couple, we gave up 146 yards rushing, 53 of them came on 4 plays. An easy fix, they executed, they did a nice job, and we didn't execute well on those things, and then the second half, they were 2 of 8 in the first half on third down. Going through through 3 quarters of the deal, they only, I think, were 1 for 3 on third down in the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter, that last drive is the one where, because the guys did a good job. We got some 3 and outs, some 4 and outs, some 5 and outs, forced some punts. Didn't take the ball away. We know we got to take the ball away. Last year at this time, there were 21 takeaways. We got 11, so we're 10 shy of that. So we've got to make some plays there and get the ball back. But that last drive, they went 4 for 4 on third down, and most of it was my fault. I put the guys in, some bad spots. 3rd and 13, I put them in a rough spot, and I got to be better in that situation. He had a couple good calls. The screen on third down. They'd been 100% run, in a 4-minute situation going into the game. And, he dialed up a jet sweep, plunge screen to the tight end. And we're in man coverage, and it's a hard down in man coverage. They executed it really well. So we needed to give, we had a chance to get the ball back for offense. We didn't get it done. So we looked at all that. We pointed out, obviously, the positive stuff. There was a lot of good things there. Cleaned up, things we needed to clean up. We've got a great group of guys. They're unbelievable. They're warriors. They played to the bitter end, to the very last snap. I mean, guys that are, just laying it on the line, giving it up for each other, doing everything they can to win a game and come back in here, cleaned up, like I said, what we needed to clean up, and had a good start to the week yesterday. Excited about this opportunity at home against Detroit. Got a really good football team. Offense is playing at a high level. The quarterback, if the record was flipped and, there are a bunch of, really tight games, he's in the MVP, conversation as far as I'm concerned. Stafford's he's playing as good as I've seen. I've faced him before, and he's playing at a high level. He's a really, really talented guy, and he's playing with a ton of confidence, and he can throw that football, and he's got playmakers, obviously, and Galladay and Jones and Amendola, and those guys rank as high as anybody in the league. I think the 3 of them are averaging 219 pass yards, between the 3 of them per game. So, they can run the ball. They've lost a couple guys, but, 31 and 41 coming in, doing a nice job there, and good tight ends, good skill. Offensive line's good. So we got a huge challenge in front of us.
Matt talked earlier in the week about having to keep his pulse on a burnout factor for the defense, given the offensive struggles. You've been around the league a long time. During a game, during a week, during a month or a season, how do you keep your side of the ball from feeling sort of exhausted and worn out from the other side's struggles?
It's our job. They're grown men. We're professionals as coaches and players, and we're fortunate to be playing and coaching this game. It's a privilege. It's not a right, and that's our job. And you just keep going. You keep moving forward. You look at it. You make the corrections. We all just try to get better. and you keep, again, as long as you don't give in to it, and you just keep working and working and working, it'll flip. I don't know when it's going to flip, but it'll flip. So that's what, we pound home with them, but we don't have to. They do it to them. You guys talk to those guys. You know their mindset. You know the mentality of that room. It's as good as I've been around as far as that. And, it stinks, right now. It sucks, but it is what it is. We're not going to bemoan it. We're not going to, it isn't a, poor pitiful me and, point fingers, this, that, and the other. We got a job to do, and everybody understands that. The whole team, the whole locker room. Coach does a great job, with our team, and keeping their eyes forward and blinders and earmuffs, all that stuff. Focused on the next one. Great thing is we got another opportunity. We got 8 more, and the only one that matters is this next one. We got a really good football team coming in here, really good offense, so that's where our focus needs to be. It can't be on anything else, but doing our job today, going out and have the very best Thursday in the history of Thursdays. If we do that, and then we have the best Friday in the history of Fridays, tomorrow, and then the best mock game in the history of mock games on Saturday, we'll give ourselves a chance to play well.
How would you assess the run defense the last couple of weeks, specifically since Akeem has been out and unavailable? How do you think against the run you guys have?
Yeah, we've been, just a little bit inconsistent. Times we're really, really good. Like I said, you take 4 runs out, and it's always easy to say that. They had 35 carries for 140-some yards. You take those 4 runs out, it's 31 carries for 90-some yards, 3 a carry. So we take it every day of the week. So it's just, just got to be consistent, and don't play outside, just everybody do their job. I got to do my job better. Everybody's just got to play better and play more consistent, because you never know when that play is going to happen.
Career, when you lose a star player like Hicks, is that type of talent actually replaceable? Or do you have to accept that he's a star for a reason, and the guys coming in behind him are not going to be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's next man up, and they've built a hell of a roster here, so those guys understand, that you come in here and you prepare as a starter every single day. And so when your number's called, like 44 got his number called a couple weeks back, went in and played, really good football, winning football. So that's the expectation, and it stinks. We all hate to have, big number 96 out of there, and you hate to lose anybody. But that's the National Football League. It's going to happen. So collectively as a unit, everybody's got to rise up.
Galladay seems like he's had a developmental breakthrough this year in terms of being on the same page with Stafford and being where he needs to be. What impresses you watching these first 8 games of him and what he's doing for that offense?
He's a competitive guy. He's playing with a ton of confidence. He's big, he's long, he's physical. You try to get up and press him, and he's good at the line of scrimmage. He can separate. He's always open. It doesn't matter, if you got guys draped all over him. Catch he made against Oakland, the corner of the end zone. I mean, it's just, it's just phenomenal, the things he does. He's got really, really strong hands. He just does a lot of things well, and the quarterback is playing lights out right now. And all the throws are right where they're supposed to be, and if they're not a little bit, 19 and 11 and 80 and all those guys, they're all making great plays for him.
I know it's only a handful of snaps a game, but what have you liked about the formation you have when Roquan's off the field, but you get an extra, whether it's a D lineman or an extra defensive back? And what's the challenge for you taking somebody like that off the field, even if it's for the scheme?
Yeah, again, it's, is the juice worth the squeeze type of mentality. So it's a change up. It gives us a chance versus, 12 personnel or 11 personnel, 3 wides. To stay big as a front. You're pulling a linebacker off the field. That's the give and take there. So it's a great question, because you don't want to pull somebody off and then put somebody on and then say, hey, we got a really good player standing here, we got another one. It's all based on what's best for the team. What gives us the best chance to win, what gives us the best chance to get out of this series, and that's it. So And again, our guys are, all they want to do is win. So whatever package, we come up with to face and play certain situations and personnel groups, they're all good.
Like you said, that the takeaways are down from last year, but the other numbers are pretty similar through 9 weeks. I know the record is what it is, and it stinks to lose 4 in a row. But are you getting this group to play at close to the level that you thought they could play at, coming here before the season started?
Yeah, they're doing a great job, and we went back after 8 games and looked at both sides, and I mean it's damn near identical up and down the deal. The biggest discrepancy is the 11 to 21. Red area. Our percentage is not bad, but this time last year I think they only had 15 or 16 possessions that they had to defend in the red area. We're at 30. So that comes back to situational football. That comes back to third down. We're not giving up explosives. We're pretty good against the big play, and we're going to have to be because this team we're playing obviously thrives and lives by the big play. So again, I think it's just a matter of cleaning up some things. Penalties. They had 1 defensive offside through 8 games last year. We got 10. Those are what we call the sins, self-inflicted negatives. That's just, when the ball moves, you go, and being disciplined there. So we got to get better there. We had, 3rd and 6, and now it's 3rd and 1. 3rd and 6, hard enough. 3rd and 1's like, you got to have and we stopped one, to get to the 4th down, and we get a stop there, and then we have the penalty there. So if you eliminate all that stuff and you make people go the long, hard way, we'll be better.
What was your honest assessment and reaction to the penalty on Nick? I mean, you guys are off the field on 4th down, and they call that. I mean,
Did you watch the TV copy? So you know how I felt.
I mean, is it very bothersome, particularly situationally, that gets taken?
You all know, where we're at as far as the rules, and you got to adapt, and they're going to protect that guy, regardless. So we understand that, and I don't want to take anything away from our defense. Play aggressive, and you got to play smart and those kind of things. And it's unfortunate, but it happened, and it could have gave our offense the ball back at the 38-yard line. It's a whole different world, whole different ball game. You're only down 6 at that point, so you got to move on. Can't dwell on it.
Everybody on that topic, everybody from the players to you guys to the media and people watching on TV has had to recalibrate kind of what they understand about roughing the passer and things like that. Have you adjusted to that? Do you see those calls now? And even if you don't like them, you sit there and say, well, that is the rule?
Yeah, we talk to our guys all the time. Our coaches do a great job, primarily Jay, and we talk to the whole group because, we're going to have secondary guys blitz and everybody. They have to understand what the rules are and how they officiate, RPS, roughing the passer, spending a year with those guys a year ago, and watching firsthand that whole process. We all know the things that you can't do. It's a 2-step process. You got 1 step, and then it's ball gone, bang, bang, play. There's a strike zone that you can't hit. You can, if it's simultaneously, and you hit the quarterback, and then you got to fall to the side. You can have no body weight. Our guys have done a great job. They do a great job coaching it. We talk about it. We show them examples. Coach Nagy does a great job of, every week showing clips of situational football, showing penalties, showing what the crew is calling and why they're calling it. So we continue to educate those guys. Because you have to, it's adapt or die, mindset. So we have to adapt to the rules, and I think our guys have done a great job. And every now and then you get one of those, and it's just unfortunate. He's not trying to hurt anybody, and barrel a guy into the ground, and just happen. So you got to live with it.
Stafford is known for being kind of a bold thrower, takes risks. Is he any more unpredictable than other quarterbacks you face?
He's gonna push the ball down the field. That's who he is. and he's playing with a great deal of confidence, like I said. He does a great job of controlling the back end, controlling deep safeties, controlling the post safety, with his eyes. He knows pre-snap and post-snap where he wants to go with the football. There's a lot of timing and rhythm throws in there, and he does a great job of holding guys, and then he can spin it and throw it into as tight of windows as I've seen, especially once you get down in the end of the red zone. And, having said that, there's going to be opportunities. There's opportunities. He's thrown 5 this year, and there's been guys have taken advantage of some throws, because, he's not afraid to take some chances, and he counts on his guys to go make plays. We have just as much right to that ball as they do. So our guys will be in position, and we've got to attack that thing at the high point and be aggressive on those things. So I think he's going to give us some shots. Thank you, guys.
Chuck, thank you.